I give vocals and write lyrics for Spike Club.
This is Gabriel Magru, I play keyboards for Spike Club.
I am Aditya Bhatnagar, I play bass.
So, tell us how Spike Club started off.
Spike Club started off as a poetry blog that I used to write, and I used to have this little poetry written inspired from here and there. And this was spotted by my friend Vincent Pereira from Prakalp, and he felt that we should make this into music. So we were looking for inspiration at that time, like, what kind of music can fit into these dark lyrics. So that's when we visited this gig called Resurrection, and we saw this insane band called Cosmic Infusion, probably one of the most extreme black metal bands in Bombay at that time, and we were like, yeah, we want to make that music. So we decided to go on and on with it, and we found members, and we finally started jamming up small time, and this went on for a while until we were just 2 months away from our first gig, and that's when tragedy struck and Vincent passed away. Yet we managed to put things together, calling people to help us for our first gig that was supposed to be 2007 SIS Power Chords. It happened, and there we were, and then after that, no matter what happened, we never looked back.
And what's Spike Club's music like? What genre would you guys come out?
We don't have a specific genre. We do not want to be stereotyped under a specific genre. There are guys who call us black metal, people call us gothic metal, and we like try to be different. We're trying to make a different kind of music. We're trying to make a different statement, and yeah, that's it. Like we don't want to be under any specific genre. We don't want to be called anything. Because every song of ours is different. There's a song that has influences of death metal. There's a song that has influences of black metal. So we prefer calling ourselves extreme metal. Like we can play whatever we want.
Yeah, the influences have changed. Like, I mean, if you look at the first two tracks, there's more, it's more like black metal, and now that we just completed, recently we finished one track, and that's, leaning towards the progressive side, and as we're going on, the sound keeps shaping, like, depending on whatever influences we have, whatever we're listening to currently, whatever we like, if it sounds good in the song, then we keep it. That's how the sound evolves.
What kind of influences do you guys have?
Each member of the band has different influences. We have guys in the band who listen to everything from jazz. There are guys who listen to classic rock. There are guys who listen to popular music, even contemporary Hindi music.
Old school death metal and black metal, man.
There you go. So we also have psychedelic trance, and we have everything coming in. And when we sit to compose something, everybody puts his feeds in. So as we go on with our further songs, you will see that we are putting in different elements, like from whatever people are inspired by. So especially, there's a lot of classical, Indian and Western Indian.
And what are your lyrical influences like? Do you guys have a message that you guys put through your songs? Do you guys have a political message? Do you have a religious view on things? What are your lyrical?
We take things mainly what society refutes. We take things like suicide, we take things like abortion, we take things like rape and stuff like that. Things that can really make someone like, what was that? And the best part is that these lyrics are written before the songs are composed. So when we sit to compose a song, for example, called Smiling Suicide, we will compose it according to the mood of the lyrics. So that's the way we go with our lyrics.
Yeah, things that mainstream society rejects, that's what we write about. That's what we want to, we want to show them, like, this is what's going on in society, showing it like back to them.
Are you guys into Indian bands? What Indian bands do you guys like? Do you guys look up to? Maybe when you were part of the audience before you got up on stage, what were the Indian bands that you guys like?
Mainly it's the symphonic extreme bands which we have, at least in Bombay. I can name 3 for now, which are, our true gurus. We have Demonic Resurrection, Beyond Doubt, who are, the biggest band probably in India. Then we have Cosmic Infusion, because of whom we started, and Apollonia Quest, which is an amazing band who played some super music at that time. So these 3 bands were like the ones who were mentors, the ones who inspired us. Besides them, we loved listening to songs by Devoid, big fans of them, and other bands, probably Cryptos, a good band. And
Infernal Wrath, they just came out with their album. That's a very good listen, and they've like set a mark for Indian bands to aspire to sound like, to make music like.
The first Indian band I ever heard was Devoid, Palm Expo, Goregaon. I didn't actually believe that there was metal in India unless I saw them. Like I'd never seen a guy play leads on a guitar or something like that in India, and a guy doing double bass on drums, someone screeching on the mic. I'd never seen it before. So that was like something new for us, and that's probably where we like inspired. That's what inspired me at least.
That's the good thing about Indian bands. I mean, you've got your contemporaries, people that you see at shows. Some of them are on the stage and showing you that this is what you can be, man. And if you're a musician, then you can just go for it. I mean, anyone who lives anywhere, who does anything, can, if you have enough passion, you can pick up an instrument and start playing music. Like, find people, make a band, and one day maybe you can be big.
What do you, since you guys also have a big, black metal is a big influence for you guys. What do you think about, all these Norwegian acts, about their, religion coming, so deeply entrenched into the music, and them spreading hate through their music for religion. Are you guys cool with that? Are you guys also cool with gospel rock, which is the exact opposite?
well, the way the Norwegians see it is different because they are justified in doing what they are doing.
Yeah.
Not that we are for Satan or not that we are against Christianity or anything. But the reason they're doing this is because they faced a lot of torments in the days of conversion, and that thing's coming out in them. They're doing things against people who follow Christ, not against Christ himself, but ironically, just to hit the softest point of your enemy. Hence, they turn to Satanism and blasphemy against religion. So that's their way of seeing it. We are inspired by music from black metal, not the message of black metal. Our music, our themes, our lyrics, everything has nothing to do with any criticism of God or anything like that. That's why we claim that we aren't black metal. You can call us, probably extreme goth metal or something like that, because we have a lot of dark lyrics, so I'm more inclined towards gothic writing, inspired by bands like Cradle of Filth, for example. But as far as lyrics are concerned, we cannot be black metal.
For sure, what happened in Norway was, you have to take it in context. I mean, their race had been enslaved by Christianity. I mean, these people were pagan believers, and obviously that won't fit into context here. I mean, in our time right now. So definitely we're inspired by the aesthetic of black metal. Sure, our style might be leaning towards that side, but the message is completely different.
So do you guys think it makes any sense for Indian, black metal bands and all to speak about Satanism? Do you think it fits into the whole Indian culture?
The reason I found many people who are leaning more towards evil things, more towards Satan and, all the dark gods, is because here in India, we are enforced to believe what our parents believe. It's basically rebellion that comes out. You cannot force religion upon anyone. That's what's happening. There are kids who come whining. They're like, I missed this gig because my mother told me to go to church, or I missed a party, my best friend's party, because I had to go to the mandir, or something, like that. So there's a whole different reason religion is refuted in this country. It's mainly because of pressure and because of fanatism, I can say that.
Yeah, and if you want to follow a particular religion, it's your choice. It's your individual choice. I mean, if I choose to believe in Satan, then that's my individual worldview. It's my way of looking at the world. So it doesn't affect the music we create. And if you have a different message, then bring it out. We don't have that message with us. So even though if some of us believe in Satan, it doesn't necessarily come out in the music.
How long has it been for Spike Grill, in the scene?
In the scene, we started off on December 2007.
2007.
Yeah, so it's like
almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years.
I joined the band recently. It's just been a few months. But the gig season is about to start now. So let's see. We put the whole formula to the test right now, I guess.
There are a lot of new things we have to start, especially with Adi in the line.
So 2 years. So what do you think about the women in the scene? Do you think there are more women, there are less? Do you think there are more female musicians, less female musicians?
It's pretty evident that there are a lot less female musicians than there should be. Mainly because, first of all, everyone wants to listen to Bryan Adams and some lovey-dovey music. So yeah, Acorn's one favorite we have come across. So it's a thing we want to show people that music is irrelevant of your religion, irrelevant of your sex or any belief of yours. It's music is when you want to get a message across. I mean, there are so many people who want to talk about the horrors of suicide, no matter who they are, whether he's a priest in a church or whether he's a vagabond on the road. Everyone knows the horrors that suicide goes through. So, Spike Ribs, almost every song besides our latest one, The Dark Lord, is about women. Every song is about women and things they go through.
Atrocities faced by them.
A lot of it. So, we kind of like to pull this message out because a woman is someone who affects us from the day we are born to the day we die. So we also have a female vocalist, which is something we have tried new for one of our songs. It's Hecate gives vocals for the song Smiling Suicide. So it's that little connect we're trying to build, with the female audiences who are like, hell, there's a woman singing in this song which is about a woman. Why not get in there?
Yeah, talking about women in the scene, I really don't give a shit. Like, I mean, if you like the music, come for it. Like, there's no point in coming for a show and not knowing jack shit about what the music that's being played. So yeah, if you're a fan of the music, come listen to it. But if there are no women, like, who gives a fuck? Yeah, I mean, we make our music to make the music, not to look at chicks. So that's basically how it is.
But in general, what happens in the metal scene is like, especially in India, I mean, usually there were a lot of women. Do you think it's changed? Do you think more women are actually taking an active role in the scene?
It's quite evident in the most recent gigs that have happened. The front row had a lot of women doing not just standing and looking dazed or clicking photos. They're doing 360s and probably participating in the mosh as well, which is something fantastic. Something that's showing that it's for the masses at last. It's not just for those, guys who smoke up and wear black every day, and it's not for them. It's for everyone. Music, metal is touching every life.
Yeah, it depends actually whether you're a poser or not. Like, if you really like the music, if you dig the music, and if you come to us like with a real love for the music, then it's cool. But if you just want to hang around for the sake of it, that's not cool for sure.
Have you guys played outside of Bombay?
Just once. We've been to Ahmedabad, and that's been our only gig. It was this year, 2009 in January. So when we went to Ahmedabad, and it was one hell of a gig because we were the only metal band there. And the response we got was pretty stunning. I mean, it was basically a very alternative, punk, classical kind of a gig. Yeah, they even had a tribute to Pink Floyd. And everyone was seated down. And when we went on stage, it was like after 3 bands, and everyone was like, hell, they're a metal band. And I just told them, like, we're a metal band, please come ahead. We were pretty apprehensive before taking stage at such a place. First of all, it's a new state and a new audience altogether. Stunningly, we had a wall before us, and we even had a tiny mosh pit. It was something quite awesome. Yeah. It's lovely.
Unexpected.
So how would you compare the crowd in Bombay to the crowd in Ahmedabad? What's the audience like?
We hadn't been for a metal gig in Ahmedabad, so we really can't comment on that. But I mean, obviously the crowd in Bombay are way more wild. I haven't seen guys. I was playing for Prakalp earlier, and I was at Nagpur. We had gone for a gig in Nagpur. And the crowd over there isn't as wild as the guys in Bombay, man. You have people bleeding out over here and mosh pits happening, and heck knows what happens. There's always someone carted off in an ambulance or something. So this crowd is wild. Like, they know what they're doing. The guys over there are like pretty mild. They came because probably they hadn't experienced a lot of bands playing over there, or probably the genre they listen to and stuff is different.
The number of metalheads there is very less. And And I realized that in places like this, it's a trend for people to take up metal, then say it's a kiddish thing, and move into something like alternative rock or classical music. So it's a huge misconception that metal is for angry teenagers, and that's something that's ruling the scenes outside Bombay, which is quite sad.
Yeah, metal is like an art form, yeah, and Bombay has it's had its scene for a couple of years. So the crowd here is definitely it's more wise about what they want to listen to, what they don't want to listen to, and which is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, but they definitely know what their tastes are and what bands they like. So that's healthy always.
Uh, what is your opinion on commercial music?
Commercial music is something that's meant to be. Whether you want it, you hate it, whatever you want. Everyone wants to fill their stomach at the end of the day. I mean, we'll be like, oh hell, we are an underground band. We don't want to, make money. We are here to make metal or make music. But over a period, especially for a band in Bombay, to come out with an album, you've got to be around for like 4 to 5 years. In that period, the money you spend from your pocket begins to pinch you later on. So, people kind of tend to want to make side projects that can earn them money. So, it's there. As long as you can fend for yourself and, be a good metalhead who'll attend all the gigs, who'll buy all the original CDs, you're a good guy. But this will be the time when you realize that you want to make money. Although secretly we do not want to do that, we want to remain as underground and as evil as possible. But for the sake of getting ourselves known better by more people, we might have to resort to things later on. We never know. Keeping our fingers crossed.
We don't want it to interfere with the art. I mean, we don't want to compromise on our music, and on the art form that we're creating because of financial reasons. So, as far as possible, we're trying to keep the commercial side as a side project, like maybe make different music, whatever it is, but as little as possible. We don't want it to affect the music that's being created, and not only the image but the actual songs, like the topics we speak about, whether it's the kind of music that we make, the structure of the music that's made. We don't want that to be affected because of financial reasons. Like we take care of that, separately.
So, I'm guessing you guys are all aware of the Bollywood industry.
Very much.
Yes. So how do you think metal and the whole underground scene, do you think it will hold its ground when such a behemoth like Bollywood exists?
Well, it has, and the best part is it's growing. Every gig there are minimum 10, 20 people who are coming there for the first time. It's growing. The best thing on our side is also the best thing on Bollywood side. It's that we have a population that's humongous. There are guys who, there's always somebody who's ready to listen. There's always somebody new who wants to get inspired by metal. So it's not really a threat to us because it's been there before us, before the metal scene has come into being. The Bollywood scene has been there. It's the metal scene that should be acting as a threat to something like that. Of course, that will take a lot of years, but we do hope that the number of people coming for gigs, especially like we've seen in recent huge gigs where Iron Maiden came down, tickets were sold out. There were lines of people staying outside for long. I mean, this may be happening at some Salman Khan dance or something, but I'm pretty sure that the dedication of people to watch Iron Maiden is a hell lot more than that.
Yeah, hopefully we can convert as many people as possible.
We're missionaries.
Do you think there is respect for Indian bands as you compare it to international bands? Like as you said, people come to watch Iron Maiden. Like, do you think people respect Indian bands as they do?
See, that again comes back to the whole commercial aspect. Over here, like the biggest music you have is made by huge producers and huge music, whatever bigwigs in the industry and all. And what do they make? They make music that will sell. So obviously our music is not aimed at that. We're not aiming to make music that will be popular. We're aiming at music that we want to make. So if you look at it that way, obviously I mean, bands abroad, they've been around. I mean, the scene has been around for much longer. Here it's a very nascent scene where like what the first wave, second wave of bands that are making this kind of music. So obviously, it's I mean, they're like sort of pushed into a corner, but we're fighting back. We're trying to get more people to listen to music, and we don't get as much respect as we deserve. There are so many good bands out there, yeah? Infernal Wrath and Third Sovereign. I mean, there are so many good bands that people have just not heard of. So what can we do? We can just keep making music, keep releasing CDs, keep trying to make it grow.
It's a pity that Indian bands are looked at as wannabes. No matter, even if they pulled out 2 albums, they are like, these guys sound like Lamb of God, or these guys sound like Dimmu Borgir or something like that. It's a huge pity. I mean, give them some credit. Even if they wanted to sound like someone else, they did put in their bloody efforts to last on the scene, to shell out money from their pockets, shell out their time, sacrifice their energy, and come out with music like that. It's a pity that there's no respect for locals, for the local scene, but I see a very bright future in the very distant past, which will improve very rapidly. We need to target international audiences more because international recognition is something that will get the local ground dogs back on ground.
Yeah, there are so many bands over here which, I mean, if they played gigs abroad, the crowd would welcome them with open arms, I mean, they'd be much more respected. Here, I mean, metal is still looked at as, just those guys in black t-shirts headbanging and listening to very loud, distorted music. So, I don't know when we're going to get that respect for what we do and what bands that deserve that respect, when they'll get it, God knows.
What is your view on internet music piracy?
Internet piracy. Actually, internet piracy is something that's unavoidable. It's like this little flu you catch when you pass through a garbage dump. You want it, you don't want it, it comes your way. It's mainly because the huge scene over here, whatever the scene is, a huge amount of people in it are kids. Kids who go to college, who go to school, who have to borrow money from their parents to watch a gig that costs $250 to $300. So, I mean, the only way they have to listen to this band called Nile or Behemoth or something big is by robbing the music, which is sad, which shouldn't be happening, but that's how they do it, and that's the only way they have a window to the world outside. They are like, I downloaded this track today, I downloaded this album today, do you want it? I'll pass it on to you. It spreads, piracy spreads, and the saddest part, of course, everything's bad, but it hurts us the most when Indian bands are ripped from a CD into an MP3 format and passed throughout the internet. But that's something that cannot be avoided. That's something a band like Metallica couldn't handle. So, in the Indian scene, many people will have a lot of trouble with piracy.
I mean, if it wasn't for internet piracy, we wouldn't have heard of all the bands that we listen to. Yeah, I mean, CDs here cost $500 at a minimum. That too, old CDs, new CDs that come out, they cost more because they're all imported. Nothing's manufactured here. So, I don't know. I mean, it's too expensive to go around, listening to all. I mean, for a person who wants to listen to as much music as they can, someone who is passionate about music, it's difficult to go to a music store and first of all, you won't even find the artists that you want to listen to. So, if it wasn't for music piracy, none of us would have heard of all these bands. So, I don't know, the corporates hate us, but we have no other option but to download music.
So the best channel we have is YouTube, where you can stream music legally. I don't know whether it's uploaded there legally, or probably the MySpace pages of all the bands that we have. That's the most legal thing we can do, and listen to it.
So in a way, do you think piracy has helped the scene, or is it more of a detriment to the scene?
It does help the scene because it's not really easy to get a Dying Fetus album off a rack in any music shop in India. You can't go to Planet M and search for Dying Fetus. You're not going to find it there. So to spread music like that, it does kind of help spread music in places like India for once, like where you ain't going to get music like underground music and stuff that's not commercial. So it does kind of help.
It's like an unspoken truth. I mean, everyone's passing on music to each other. There's no real radar that we come under, like, like, oh my god, he's sharing music, he's not. Everyone does it, it's just an unspoken truth.
In fact, we point fingers to guys who own original CDs, and you're like, hell, he's got 20 original CDs. That's something big. So it's a pity, it's an ugly truth, but that's what's happening. That's what's keeping our scene alive, at least.
What changes have you observed in the scene since you guys came up, since you guys started playing, from your inception till now?
I would take you back since we were audiences. I mean, that's even before, before the scene started building up rapidly. We used to have an odd 6 to 7 college gigs that used to be competitions, which were the only place where bands could come out and show themselves, especially new bands. They started growing. Right now, between the month of October to February, we have around 3 to 4 college gigs happening every month, which is a competition, maybe a lot more, but the major ones. And the number of people coming for these gigs is huge. What we have realized is that when we came into the scene, the only way we used to network, to let people know about us was Orkut and probably Facebook. Now with things as killer as the Flaming Skull podcast and international recognition for bands coming in, it's really awesome because this thing has helped us grow a lot. So now it's easier for someone to come up with a band or probably start his own project at home and play a few riffs, record it, put it up on MySpace, send it across to someone like the Flaming Skull podcast. If they like it, if you're famous, you're up there. You're going to go international easier than what it was believed like around 3 to 4 years ago.
What about Raz, man? Remember we used to go there, all the shows used to happen at this one place called Raz, and sadly it's not there anymore, but I believe that was the place where a lot of people, that's where the scene was alive. Unfortunately, I don't know for what reason it's been taken away, but Raz was definitely one of the places where metal music, not just rock music, metal music got a place to play, got a place where people could mosh and headbang.
It was a little shrine for this.
Yeah.
Do you think the audience has become more accepting, of new music, original music from the early on to now? Now are they more accepting, or is it still the same?
In the metal scene. In the metal scene, yes, because bands have started focusing more on original music. Earlier, it was bands who used to come and they used to be like, hell, this band covers Metallica, I'm going for the gig. This band covers Megadeth, I'm going for the gig. Now bands have started refuting covers and saying that this is our sound. We do not sound like so and so. Unlike before, when guys used to be like, listen to us, this riff sounds like Metallica, or we'll do 4 Metallica covers for you, you cannot miss it. It was pretty sad. Now there are bands who simply refuse to play covers no matter what the audience tells them, even at the crowd, even at the venue. And they take a stand and they're like, this is our music, you've come to listen to us, do not listen to our covers. The same things with us, the same things happening to Spike Rib. There were guys who used to like us because we used to cover Cradle of Filth and we used to cover Dimmu Borgir, and they used to be like, we like these bands, we want to see Spike Rib, please play the song at so and so gig. And we used to be like, that's not our song, that's a cover. You like us, you should like us for our original music, the music we have worked for. That's mainly because of the mindset of the band's changing. The audience automatically focus more on original music, something new.
What do you think are some of the the biggest problems that the scene is facing right now?
In Bombay, it's jam rooms.
Lack of venues.
Lack of equipment available during gigs. Okay, you can buy the best of guitars. There are loads of stores. We have loads of stores over here. But during gigs, we being a 6-7 piece band, especially, we have a lot of problems. Even traveling is something that's a huge problem because Bombay is a big city. We, for example, live in Vasai and we go to jam up in a place like Bandup, which is like really far. So it's 2 hours to a jam up, 2 hours and back. So we have to put up with all these things. We have to put up with restrictions from people. Another huge problem we face is from society. We have cops dropping in at many gigs, and they feel it's natural. I mean, India has never seen something like this. If a cop sees a bunch of 30 to 40 guys in black smoking with probably some rather snazzily dressed girls with them, they will definitely bust the scene. They cannot differentiate between a metal gig and a rave party. I mean, they haven't seen something like that. So we have cops, which is something huge. We have families who feel that listening to metal is making my son mad, my son's a psychopath or something like that. We have, places where we cannot express ourselves. For example, if we wait on a railway station and there are a bunch of 4 to 5 people standing in black having a talk about probably the latest Lamb of God album, and there are people who come and form a crowd around you, and then you go, hell, look at them. They're all black and they've got long hair, and it's pretty scary for them.
Yeah, the long hair.
Acceptance is the biggest problem.
But there are like small problems also. Yeah, I mean, buying equipment's expensive. Buying strings, buying bass strings, which cost $600 it's difficult. And other than that, we just wish there were more venues where we could play the music that we want to play. I mean, you got places like Hard Rock Cafe and stuff, and what's that other place? Somewhere in town, yeah, whatever. They kind of order you to play, particular kind of music because the crowd coming there doesn't want to listen to it. I mean, we want to play our music for people who want to listen to it. So, I mean, it's not cool if someone's ordering us to not play this kind of music and play a more mainstream rock version of, the song or whatever it is. But definitely, we wish there were more venues that we could play.
So finally, what are the future plans of Spike?
For now, we are going on with new compositions. We want to play at as many venues as we can so that we can grab the attention of as many people as we can. And probably in a time of like say couple of years, we plan to come out with an album, which we hope will solve a lot of problems of piracy and will look at all the tiny things that affect the scene, and it's a far-fetched plan for now. I mean, 2 years is a long time for a metal band. A lot of things change in a band. Sadly to say that people change in a band more than anything else. So we have to hold ourselves together. For now, we have a good lineup, and let's hope we kick ass.
We are trying to record our songs and hopefully take it from there. See what happens. Record all our songs, then let's see. Only time will tell.
We do have a blooper section. Do you guys have any incidents that you would like to share with us with the band? Something that is totally unforgettable. Something that you feel.
Bloopers. I know something. It just happened recently. It wasn't really a blooper, but it was like something, the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, man. Like, I've never been for a gig before where you have an inch of sweat on the floor, and while playing, like, you're actually slipping on stage, and everything was slipping. Like, the guys were standing and slipping. My keyboard slipping away, I had to pull it back. And it was a mess. And another blooper, dude, what about the stuff that happening in the crowd and pushing the people there?
Yeah, there's a huge blooper section that happened just recently at Space Jam. I have got a very high number on my left eye, so I cannot see. So the thing is, during the gig, being in such a small place and so smoky and hazy with sweat, my specs got fogged, and I had to get rid of them. And I did my usual headbanging. I found my place in a small hole between the crowd, only to lift my head to know that I'm surrounded by 3 females. So that was pretty much of a blooper and very embarrassing, and like it's part of the game.
Bloopers happen, you usually have instruments being unplugged on stage and all that.
Yeah.
Without the player knowing it.
Yeah, at the first show, our lead guitarist Russ was, he played his whole solo unplugged. And he realized after that.
That happens. Oh yeah, you also have the drummer throwing his sticks away.
Yeah, the sweaty venues often bring out sweaty palms on the drummers, where we have a guy whom we request to stand with a couple of sticks next to him. because while the guy is blasting away and then goes for a simple bang, this stick goes flying into the crowd. So
Literally, this guy's played.
You
He's been
have-
playing on the snare. The stick slips from his hand. He grabs it from the air and then finishes the beat or whatever. Shit like that's
it's
happening.
good we have bloopers. We have something to say.